Good morning. This came across the news feed this morning, and I just had to comment on it. I had to come off vacation once again because it directly responds to a show that I did that I got in a little bit of trouble for. And that show was about women baring their naked breasts in public to feed their children at fine dining restaurants, in malls, at work, walking down the runway like that model did. Walking down the runway with her kid hanging off her naked breast. The fact that Janet Jackson got in trouble for a wardrobe malfunction with 3 seconds of a nipple being shown on national television during the Super Bowl. Well, you know what? You know what Political Paula hates the most? Political Paula hates hypocrisy. And Political Paula hates double standards. And at the U.S. Open, there are double standards. Now, we're talking about a U.S. Open in 2018 where the heat index, it feels like over 100 degrees. And these amazing athletes are playing in extraordinary heat conditions. And the men are sitting around with their shirts off, bare-chested, with ice wrapped around them for 15, 20 minutes at a time. They're just sitting there, all half naked. But this one French player, well, she got into a little bit of trouble because she took a heat break and she changed her shirt. And when she did, she put it on backwards over her sports bra, which in solidarity, I am wearing a sports bra. Yeah, my abs look good, don't they? But I wear this outside. I wear it on the beach. I wear it in the city I live in to walk around. I am fully covered up. You can see it. Here's the back. I'm not insulting or offending anybody, I don't think. In fact, this sports bra covers up more of me than my bathing suit does. My one-piece bathing suit, by the way, which hangs a little lower and is lower cut in the back. But this French tennis player, for 4 seconds, took her shirt off, and she had a sports bra, which, believe me, was a lot different than this one. It covered up a lot more. She turned her back to the audience, very modest, took her shirt off, turned it around because she realized it was on backward and she couldn't play a good game with her shirt on backward. Believe me, been there, done that in my senior moments. If your shirt's on backward, you're not a cornhole champion, as I was this past weekend. Yeah, 3 games, won all 3. Anyhow, if you are, she basically took the shirt off, turned it around, put it back on. 4 seconds. And she got penalized for it by the ref. Now, what do we think about this? I'll tell you what I think about it. I think it is appalling that I and my husband can walk into a fine dining restaurant willing to spend over $100 on a meal, and right next to us at the table, a woman can whip out her naked breast and start having a kid sucking on it while I'm trying to eat my steak tartare that I'm paying $50 for, and that's perfectly fine. But this poor athlete who was exhausted by the heat changes her clothes to play her best tennis of ever in a major tournament, and she gets vilified and sanctioned for showing herself in this. There are restaurants in my town in Lancaster. There are restaurants down here where I can walk into the restaurant dressed like this, sit down and have a meal. And by the way, the shorts I'm wearing, they're my pajama shorts. But I match. I could walk into a bar, sit down and have a drink. At least I could down here. Probably could in Lancaster too. I could walk down to the corner store dressed like this. and buy some groceries. But this poor young woman playing in the French Open or the U.S. Open, a huge tournament, is sanctioned for daring to show her sports bra, while men tennis players all around her are sitting around completely naked from the neck to their waist up, with ice packs wrapped all over them. Is this right? I'm not going to get into another debate about breastfeeding on this one. But I do find it interesting that a model doing her job decides her kid needs to be fed and decides to walk down the runway, which she's getting paid to do, by the way, while her breast is hanging out and her kid is hanging onto it and she's modeling clothes. That's her job. And I made this when I did my show. I said, you all want to go to a board meeting and have one of your employers, your fellow employees, whip out the breast and having the kid sucking on the breast while you're trying to conduct business? I think probably not. Just as my husband and I don't appreciate walking into a nice restaurant and having some kid sucking on his mother's breast while we're trying to have a meal that we're paying a lot of money for. So here's the problem that I see. And can't wait for the comments on this one. Please send me comments. I'm going to have more time now to read my comments because I will be less busy than I have been. But I gotta say, I find it extremely rude. Just like when they told Serena Williams she couldn't wear the catsuit to play tennis in the French Open. And I'm not sure what their reasoning for it was, but the reason she wore that catsuit was health issues because she is susceptible to blood clots. And the catsuit kind of worked like those elastic stockings our grannies used to wear when they had blood clots in their legs. Compression stops blood clots. But she wasn't allowed to wear her catsuit, which basically covered every inch of her body. They said it was intimidating to other players. Well, you know what? If I walk onto a tennis court and Serena Williams is my opponent, I'm already intimidated. I don't need to look at what she's wearing. I know who's better than me when I step up to a dartboard or a cornhole board. I'm already intimidated. That shouldn't ruin my game. You got to get in my head, play my best, do my best. What my opponent is wearing shouldn't matter to someone at this level of tennis. And the fact that this poor French athlete took her shirt off for 5.5 seconds, 4 seconds actually, and had this underneath, again, is anyone insulted watching me do my show? I mean, some of you might go, damn, your tits are small. But okay, I'm proud of my girls. I worked hard to get them small. They used to be bigger. I didn't like it. But do I insult anyone by wearing this shirt? No. And that French girl didn't insult anybody either. But she insulted the ref, who immediately sanctioned her, penalized her. And she didn't lose any points in the game. But the problem is, by him calling her out, it was embarrassing. And they said mentally it could have affected her game. And again, this double standard. Men can sit around half naked all day long. Make themselves comfortable. And let's remember how dangerous playing sports in this heat is. We just had a big lawsuit with a college football team where a young man died while on football practice because the coach refused to allow the team breaks for water to properly get them hydrated, to protect them from the severe heat we have been dealing with all summer long. This has been a weird summer. Right now, if I walk outside, it's 100 degrees. So I don't walk outside for very long. I don't let my dog outside for very long. And these athletes are playing 3-4 hour matches of tennis in this outrageous heat. Their health is important. Them being able to play comfortably is important because the U.S. Open is a big deal. So, I'd like to hear what you all think. You know, we say that any woman who is feeding a child, no matter how old the child is, because believe me, I've seen women breastfeed children as old as 4 years old. Oh yeah, a kid almost as tall as me sucking off his mom's breast. Disgusting! My opinion, First Amendment protected. But women who are breastfeeding have the right to expose themselves in public anytime they want. This young woman, a serious athlete, made it to the U.S. Open, and she's not allowed to show herself looking like this in public. So what do we think about this? Am I going to get vilified yet again for being anti-child and anti-breastfeeding? I'm not anti-breastfeeding. Like I said, not going to argue this again. I think breastfeeding should be done in the ladies' room or in private. That's all there is to it. If I'm in a room, a woman whips out her breast, starts breastfeeding, I'm going to get up and walk out if I can. But if I'm in a restaurant, I can't exactly walk out when I'm waiting for my steak and lobster. But this young woman did nothing wrong. Serena Williams did nothing wrong wearing a catsuit while playing tennis. She was comfortable. She was less exposed than some of the men that play tennis out there. But she got called out too. Isn't it funny how it's always the women? And I don't always defend women on this show. You know that. You guys know how I roll with the Me Too and all that crap. But I am going to stick up for my sisters on this one. Because if a man is allowed to walk around bare-chested for 2 hours between matches at the U.S. Open to cool himself down, then for damn sure a woman can walk around in a sports bra for a lot longer than the 4 seconds this woman did. That's my opinion. It's my show. I have the right to it. But I'd like to hear your opinions on this. And please, if you stand by this French young lady, this wonderful tennis player, playing in a big tournament, who got embarrassed on national television for simply turning her shirt around, please stand with me here. And when you comment, put the hashtag US Open discrimination or hashtag US Open. Hashtag US Open double standard or US Open double fault, as I'm going to call this show. I hope you all have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. For me, we're going to be watching the wonderful John McCain's funeral and sharing through the television our respect for such a wonderful hero and a great man. And we're going to also be having some great food, hanging out with some great friends, and enjoying the last official weekend of summer. For me, it's the start of my second half of summer, which is the best time for me. I love the fall down here at Buttonwood Beach because it is quiet. I get a lot of reading done. I can walk on the beach and be the only person there at certain times. It's going to be a wonderful autumn. Not to mention the fact that in a week, I'm going to be coming home to Lancaster, and I'm going to have the privilege to meet 2 of my viewers for a nice dinner. My viewer Sam and my viewer Patsy, and I can't wait to meet both of you. And we're going to have a great dinner. My husband's looking forward to meeting you as well. So that's going to be amazing. And I'm also going to get to catch up with a dear friend for a meal as well. And then I'll be right back here at Buttonwood to enjoy the end of the season. which, to be honest, where some cry over it, it's my favorite time. You see the leaves turning, the crisp, cool air comes in. I hope all the windows get open, and it really is peaceful. So, have a wonderful Labor Day, and for now, Political Paula is out.